The old grandfather clock had just struck 2 when Daniel Matthews heard the gentle knock. It was soft at first, almost hesitant, but enough to pull him out of his late-night routine of checking on his 8-year-old daughter, Sophie. As a single father, Daniel had grown used to quiet nights and predictable rhythms. So, a knock at the door at this hour immediately set his instincts on edge. He walked to the door carefully, every step cautious, his mind racing with possibilities. Through the peephole, he saw a woman standing on his porch, her dark hair damp from the light rain, her arms wrapped around herself for warmth. She looked to be in her early 30s, her pale dress far too thin for the cool October air. Even from behind the glass, Daniel could see her shivering. For a long moment, he hesitated. Opening the door to a stranger at 2 in the morning wasn't exactly wise. But there was something about her, a quiet dignity in the way she stood, mixed with a deep vulnerability that made Daniel unlock the door and open it slowly. "I'm so sorry to bother you this late," the woman began softly. "I know how strange this must seem, but could you help me? My car broke down a few blocks away, and my phone's completely dead." Daniel studied her face in the warm light spilling from his hallway. She wasn't striking in an obvious way, but there was a gentle, genuine warmth in her features and something about her eyes that stirred an old, half-buried memory. "Of course," he said, stepping aside. "Come in, before you catch cold. I can help you with the car, or at least make you some coffee while we figure it out." The woman stepped inside, her eyes scanning the cozy living room with an expression that was both grateful and oddly familiar. "Thank you," she murmured, taking the towel he offered. "I'm Rebecca Ann Sullivan, and I know this will sound strange, but you feel familiar to me somehow." Something inside Daniel shifted. He couldn't explain why, but her words struck a deep chord. "I'm Daniel Matthews," he said, smiling gently. "Please, sit down. Would you like coffee or tea?" "Coffee, please." And she tilted her head, studying him. Daniel Matthews. That name feels familiar too. While he brewed the coffee, Daniel found himself glancing at her profile. That same quiet grace. The way she clasped her hands as though she was holding herself together. When he brought the mugs over, he said thoughtfully, "Rebecca Ann Sullivan. Did you grow up around here?" Her eyes brightened with sudden recognition. "Yes, on Maple Street until I was 12. My family moved when my dad got a new job." "Wait, Danny Matthews. You lived on Oak Street, didn't you?" The realization hit them both at once, like sunlight breaking through clouds. "Becca Sullivan," Daniel said, his voice warm with memory. "You had the tire swing in your backyard, and your mom made the best chocolate chip cookies in the neighborhood." Rebecca laughed, the first real laugh since she'd arrived. "And you had that treehouse every kid wanted to climb. You used to let me play there, even when your friends said girls weren't allowed." They both smiled, remembering those endless summer evenings, hide-and-seek games that lasted until their parents called them home. "I remember when you moved away," Daniel said quietly. "I pretended I was too old to cry, but I did. I cried too," Rebecca admitted softly. "I wanted to write, but time just slipped away." Daniel's tone grew gentle. "What brought you back?" Her smile faded slightly, replaced by a weary honesty. "I'm going through a divorce. I've been driving for days, trying to decide where to start over. And somehow, I ended up here. This was the last place I remember feeling truly safe." Daniel's heart tightened. The woman who'd once been his closest friend now sat before him, still beautiful, still kind, but carrying the weight of everything she'd survived. He hesitated, then asked quietly, "Becca, did your car really break down?" She lowered her eyes, her voice trembling. "No, I passed this street 3 times tonight. When I saw the porch light, I remembered it, just the way it looked when we were kids. I knew it was your house. My car's fine. I just didn't know where else to go." Daniel set down his mug and moved closer, his voice soft. "Becca, you said I felt familiar. What did you mean?" Rebecca reached out, her fingers brushing his hand, a simple, honest touch. "Because sitting here with you feels like home. Like being safe again." "You can stay here tonight," Daniel said gently. "Sophie would love to meet you in the morning. We'll figure the rest out later." Rebecca smiled through her tears. "Thank you, Daniel, for the coffee, and for opening your door." "Becca," he said quietly, "maybe this isn't just where you felt safe last time. Maybe it's where you start feeling safe again." Over the next few weeks, Rebecca stayed in town, finding a small apartment and a job at the local school. Her warmth with children quickly made her beloved in the community, and Daniel, along with little Sophie, became her anchor. Her chosen family. It didn't take long before friendship turned into something deeper, something that felt inevitable. Like two hearts, finally remembering they belonged together. 6 months later, in the same backyard where they once played as children, Daniel knelt before Rebecca with a ring in his hand. Sophie stood beside them, proudly holding a handmade card that read, "Welcome to our family forever." Rebecca smiled through joyful tears, realizing that the little girl who once knocked on a friend's door to play had grown into a woman who knocked on the same door, searching not for adventure this time, but for home. And sometimes, the most beautiful love stories begin not with fireworks or grand gestures, but with a gentle knock at 2 a.m. and the courage to open the door. Because love as we share here on Whispers of Kindness, often finds us when we least expect it, not in the places we go searching for, but in the hearts that quietly wait for us to come home.